Talking to Kerry Stokes, Australia, one of Australia's leading businessmen. You're a very generous philanthropist, but I hear you're tight with the dollar. Is that right?
Always, I hope so, yes.
In what way do you drive an old car? Do you wear? What do you? How do you? I mean, you got more money than you can jump over. How are you tight with it?
No, never let myself buy things for myself that I really want. That's my little personal discipline.
What would you really like?
Oh, if I want something, I'll delay it or deny it because I don't want to. I grew up where I couldn't have things. I don't want to ever be in a position where I take everything for granted. So by denying yourself stuff when you can have it, it keeps reminding you that it's important.
Well, what would you buy now if you weren't undergoing this discipline? Victoria.
Perhaps a car. I mean, I drive a pretty old car. I drive a 12-year-old, 14-year-old BMW I bought at the Athens Olympics. So and everyone said I should buy a new one, but it's a good car. I don't see a reason to buy a new one.
What sort of car would you buy?
I don't know. Probably something
Mercedes,
flashy.
pretty nice.
Oh, I know. I'm entitled to it. But if I did that, I'd feel guilty. Must be part of the Christian Brothers sort of strap and guilt feeling.
Part of the Catholic upbringing.
Well, I left that at 14, but it's still there somewhere. Yeah.
Well, it's still there. Didn't you try to get into confession in Rome?
Oh.
What happened? I got a bit on you, you see.
You have indeed. I walked into St. Peter's and it was one of those great days. The sun is streaming through and it was so reverent. And I looked up and I thought, yeah, I really need to come back to the church. And I had all these confessionals. So at that one moment in time, I went up and said, well, it's been 55 years since confession. And the guy looked at me and said, I can't hear your confession. I said, why not? He said, you've done too much. You'll have to go back and you've obviously been excommunicated. He said you have to go back to the bishop in Australia and get approvals. And I walked out and the sun, the clouds had gone over the sky. The sun had stopped shining, and I thought, oh, well, that's fine.
You've never gone back.
Never gone back, unfortunately. Yeah. Or fortunately, yeah.
What's a good day for you?
Good day. For me, a good day is actually when I'm in my gardens at Broome, or when I'm in with our people at Westrac. I mean, I love what we do, and I love being able to feel the metal and know that we make a real contribution to our state, our countries. I love Channel 7. I love it when we're successful. I feel for our people when we're not. It's all part of and emotions in media go up and down very quickly, as you well know.
Is a good day related to making money?
No.
You don't make any assessment on money?
Money's the end result. At the end of the day, if you do something well and you do it properly, you're entitled to get paid for it. You're entitled to make a profit. But if you worry about the profit first, you forget about doing the job properly.
So what motivates you? Because you keep working, you're very busy, and you don't need money, even though you've got an old car.
I like creating opportunities for our people. We've got to grow, and we've got a lot of people who work and are involved with us who have ambitions. Our job is to create an environment where they can grow, and we can do things that give rise to them being able to not have to go somewhere else. They can grow within our own organisation.
You've got television stations, got a newspaper. Like you, I love media, but I'm pessimistic about it. Are you? What's the future for free-to-air TV?
We have to adapt. And it's going to be a different future, obviously. But as you know, we're now streaming live on phones with our signal. That's part of our future. But we're going to be in a crowded world, and we have to be better to attract revenue. We have to adapt to it. But it's going to be difficult. It may surprise you to think, I actually think there's more future in newspapers than other people think.
Including Rupert. So Rupert's actually pretty good on newspapers.
Yeah, we actually had a long talk about it, and our views coincide about what it should be. The one thing we do know is you can't remove the quality, because then you're just going on a slippery slide. And we've got to offer a value proposition. We sell at West $1.50 home delivered, and there isn't a better value proposition for what we deliver, and we've held our circulation pretty well. And of course, classifieds have been destroyed, but display ads are coming back, and we do fill a niche that nobody else can. you're a retailer, you can't get people in your grocery shops on Thursdays without a newspaper. You can't. There are various things that we are still good at, and we've got to concentrate on the things we're good at and grow it.
You bought the Rothschild prayer book from about the 1500s, paid $15.5 million for it, it's reported. You're putting it on display at a free exhibition. But what intrigued me is your son said it had an extraordinary effect on you when you saw it and touched it, and you've got many beautiful things. What did it do to you, and why?
It's more than a book. It's you open it and it's like it was completed yesterday. The colours, the texture, the feel, the print, the writing. This is handwritten, and it's like as though it was handed to me as though it had just been finished. It's so fresh, and when you look at it, and the reverence within it, and the care and love and detail that went into its creation, it's very moving. It's a very moving. It's not an object. It's actually a fingerprint in time.
Is it a spiritual experience?
Yeah, there is a spiritual part of it. I mean, this was the changing times of the world. I mean, this is Columbus has just hit America 4 years earlier. Leonardo da Vinci's just designed a helicopter. We go then forward to the persecution of people still because they're not sure the world is flat around. So, and then 50 years later, the Portuguese start discovering this part of the world. So it's a pivotal moment where we go from the Middle Ages to Renaissance, and that becomes the foundation for finding Australia.
Stokes exhibition, 61 works at the Ian Potter Museum. You could be justified to keep it in your pool room and only show it to guests. Why on public and free public display?
I'm from Melbourne, as you well know. I love Melbourne. And Melbourne, without question, is the sporting capital of the world. And what we've done here from Olympics in '56, through tennis, through football, through everything we do. But what isn't recognised is Melbourne's place in the academic and art history and art of the world. Has the best gallery in Australia with the best collection. The University of Melbourne sets the pace in academia for most of these areas. And to find when you go overseas, people say to you, oh, what does Margaret Mannion think of this? And Margaret Mannion, who most people have not heard of, is one of the most recognised world experts in manuscripts and in old books and history. And she's been a teacher at University of Melbourne. She's 80 this year. She's still got people doing their PhDs with her. And Gerard Vaughan, who was a director, he was one of her students. I mean, he did his PhD with her. And all this residual talent that is alive in Melbourne, I'm hoping to draw attention to it. Because one thing about sport, you can't have really great sportsmen who are dumb. And you end up where you come back to a cultural and an academia which Melbourne has, and it's not recognised. And I'm hoping that we can bring a focus to it.
You've collected some beautiful things, and we've got the Tasmanian diary, all this, and some beautiful works. And it seems incongruous with your background. Now that's an awful judgment. It seems incongruous with a bloke who's grown up rough and done all these jobs. And in fact, a friend of mine said you were the only media mogul in the country who isn't a Philistine. You can guess who that was. And what has got you interested? What has got you into it?
It's all part of our history. My history is pretty simple. It starts with me. Virtually, I don't have a history, but Australia, Melbourne, Victoria, we have a great history, and I love finding it, and I love showing people the roots that Australia has, because everyone says we're such a young country, we don't have any roots, but we have great roots, and they derive from, in my opinion, back in the 15th century.
You also love sport, and you could just about run AFL footy now. Do you want a night grand final?
Oh, no, what I've said to the AFL is I'd love a twilight grand final, but I've said to the AFL, last year the NRL was the highest rating sporting event. If the AFL really want to be the highest rating sporting event again, they'll need to think of a twilight night game. It's not to do with what I want. That's what the viewers will watch. You
were instrumental in building the Docklands Stadium. Do you think that's worked? I think it's the wrong place.
Well, it was the only place we had. I mean, we asked us to tender. I remember there used to be a wool store there in my day. So when I went down and turned the soil there back in '97, it was going back to my roots. But I think it was a great stadium. I think it's been hopefully successful, and a lot of my heart went in and soul went into that because we got well-roundly criticised for a long time, and I always thought it was a good thing. I think Melbourne people have now sort of like it, maybe.
Maybe. The Stokes exhibition opens today, runs till the 17th of November. Would you like to buy a footy team if you let yourself buy things?
No, never. No,
Why?
I've had a basketball team in my life. No, football. The AFL has it right. Football teams should not be privately owned. Rugby league can go their way, but I reckon the AFL is right. I think clubs are a community, and they need to be responsive and reactive in their communities, and it can't be run for a profit motivation.
Where's the country going? You confident?
Oh, of course. I mean, we'll ride through all these hiccups. We're a country, we're an island. The one thing we must always remember, we're an island and we trade. We must have trade. We sell our goods to other people, and that's what we rely on, whether that's agriculture, mining, our smarts. We sell what we've got to other people. That's what we need for future generations. We've got to encourage that opportunity.
Kerry Stokes, we started talking about not looking back, so let's look to the future. What have you got to achieve yet?
Me? Oh, having fun. And having fun, enjoying what I do, and being involved with people, and seeing people get rewarded for their efforts. That's fantastic.
Is there anything you're not good at?
Oh, lots of things. I'm very narrowly good at some things.
What are you good at?
I think I'm good at knowing people. I think I enjoy people. I'm reasonably good at judging them.
I reckon there'll be two people on the phone. The Archbishop will want you down there for confession, and the Mercedes dealer will be trying to sell you a car within 10 minutes.
I'll talk to the bishop.
Although
maybe it'd be less expensive to talk to the Mercedes.
Oh, the War Memorial. I wanted to ask you about that quickly too. Do you think the Anzac Centenary's on track? I've had some worries about that.
It's got some great people behind it. It opens in Wodonga in I think it's
September
4th. So we'll see. But it's been cut back from what it was originally going to be. But I think it's now going to be more accessible. And it's a travelling show. It's owned by the government. The War Memorial is involved. You've got the Commonwealth Bank and Telstra, who are the ones who have put it together and supported it. I think the people enjoy. I think the exhibition itself will be good. But obviously, it had its budget cut by about half, so it's not going to be as big. But on the other hand, maybe it was too big and wasn't going to be accessible.
Thank you for coming in. So no great projects that we're yet to see.
No.
Not just hidden away somewhere.
Support your community, support Melbourne, and have a look for once at our arts.
Good point. Thank you so much for your time.
All right.